Welcome. Today my AJM interview is with Ashley Ding, a postdoctoral fellow at the Centre for Corporate Sustainability and Environmental Finance within Macquarie University. The topic of today's conversation was a paper published in the Australian Journal of Management, special issue on Grand Challenges. The title of the paper is Information and Volatility Linkages Across Energy and Financial Markets. Here is the interview. Welcome, Ashley. And what are the key insights for industry, policymakers and/or employees from your paper published in AJM Special Issue Grand Challenges?
Hi, everyone. What I have done in the paper is to examine information volatility linkages across energy and financial markets. And the results suggest that volatility linkages across these markets are strong due to common information sharing and cross-marketing hedging. The evidence of strong market linkages across these markets provide a wide range of important implications for asset allocation, portfolio diversification, risk management, and of course for policy making as well. So for example, the cross-market linkages provide investors with opportunities to facilitate optimal portfolio allocation and risk management decisions. So in my study, I find that information flow correlation between crude oil and clean energy appears to be strong. So that means at times of heightened volatility in the oil markets, investors can actually increase their investment in clean energy as reflected by the demand for cross-marketing hedging. And so from a financial stability perspective, it is essential for policymakers to understand how information shocks are transmitted across markets to determine the depth and perhaps the persistence of their impacts as well. And then they can design effective policy instruments. For example, policymakers seeking to progressively reduce dependence on fossil fuels and emissions, studying information and the volatility linkages between the fossil fuel and clean energy markets can help to create more effective incentive mechanisms that can be used to foster the development of clean energy. And we know that the volatile nature of fossil fuel and clean energy markets represents a potential source of systematic financial instability as well, as information shocks induce volatility transmission from energy markets to major financial markets. So a good understanding of markets interrelationships could also help policymakers in addressing financial stability issues while facilitating the implementation of climate policies.
Reflecting about the time when you wrote the paper and now we're experiencing the COVID-19 pandemic, do you believe that the pandemic has accentuated and/or changed the core messages included within your paper? And this can be including thinking about like supply chain and government decisions.
I think the core messages within my paper remain the same, that energy and financial markets are strongly interconnected. There is no doubt that the COVID-19 pandemic is a source of systematic risk. And in a world economy so connected, the impacts of COVID-19 pandemic are likely to be transmitted through interlinked global markets as well. So I think uncovering and understanding the interaction across these markets is still a fundamental concern, at least to me. However, because of the broad global extent of the impact, I think there are many reasons to suspect COVID-19 will change the dynamic of energy and financial markets, not just during this current pandemic, but moving forwards as well. So I think even areas that have received much research attention will require re-examination. I guess what I'll do next is to assess markets' interactions and dynamics during COVID-19 and maybe check how COVID-19 will change these dynamics in the future.
So that nicely segues to my last question of like, what are some future
Yeah.
research directions suggested from your paper? And also feel free to talk about something that you're working on right now.
I think COVID-19 um, emerged as like a black swan event that changed the global economy for sure. So there is a need for future research on financial effects of coronavirus spread. The COVID-19 effects are often compared with 2008 global financial crisis in the financial press, which has been like widely expressed in interconnected contagion and even spillover literature. So I guess what future research can do is to explore the difference in the spillover effects of these two events or similar events as well. What I am doing recently is to working on a paper that actually examines the the response of energy and financial markets to the climate conference. For example, the COP, the United Nations COP meetings.
Well, thank you, Ashley. It's been a pleasure talking with you.